Earlier this evening when I started promoting here a year ago.
Introductions of our main event. Jimmy?
Ladies and gentlemen, here we go with our co-main event of the evening. We feature cruiserweights in action, scheduled for 10 rounds of boxing. I introduce to you first on my left. He is fighting out of the red corner. He is wearing red trunks with gold trim, fighting out of Rockerby, California. And he weighed in at a weight of 185 pounds. He's had 7 knockouts in his 13 professional victories. Welcome a fighter they call Keith Sir Jabalot McMurray. And his opponent across the ring on my right, fighting out of the blue corner in this 10-round featured bout. He is wearing gold trunks with multi-color trim, fighting out of the Kronk Gym in Detroit, Michigan. He weighed in the same weight of 185 pounds. With an outstanding record of 15 wins, only 1 loss, he has 10 wins by way of knockout. Welcome, the WBO light heavyweight champion of the world, Leeonzer Omega Barber. Introducing your referee in charge of this bout, Ernie Swanks, now to give instructions.
Okay, gentlemen, most important, obey my commands and protect yourself at all times. Are there any questions from the blue corner, Chief Second? Any questions from the red corner, Chief Second? Touch gloves. Good luck to both of you.
We are set to go a 10-rounder, a non-title encounter for the man in the Kronk gold and red, Leeonzer Barber, an impressive physical specimen, as you can readily see, a man who's always in shape, and a man who told me before the fight that he might be in kind of a hurry. He didn't guarantee a knockout, but he did guarantee a victory. Round number 1, a scheduled 10-rounder. Keith McMurray, a gentleman who's been around many, many years, fighting a lot in Southern California. They call him Sir Jabalot. He does have a very long reach, and at 6'3", he's taller than a lot of his opponents. Leeonzer Barber is a gentleman who likes to get in and slug, making his first appearance since January 22nd of this year when he won a 12-round decision over Anthony Hebrick. This is a scheduled 12-rounder. Mr. Barber has intimated to me that he doesn't think it'll go that deep, but I'll tell you, Keith McMurray, Doc, has been in with some very, very great fighters and always manages to survive.
That's right, Hugh. Keith McMurray is a real journeyman fighter, and he told me that he comes from a family of fighters, so that boxing and competitive sports has been part of his upbringing, part of his orientation.
Leeonzer Barber will be part of that historic show in Beijing, China on October 16th. As we're calling this promotion here tonight is the road to China, as Barber looking like he wants to send Keith McMurray's head to China first class with a wild right hand. When it comes to pure power in the light heavyweight division, Leeonzer Barber might be as strong as anybody out there. At 15-1, still many people feel is untested, but Manny Stewart is barring him along beautifully and says he would love to bring the division together at 175 pounds, but sometimes he gets avoided.
Keith told me that he still has quite a bit of his family here in San Bernardino, and that his father was a very well-known heavyweight who actually fought with Floyd Patterson, or fought against Floyd Patterson.
Round number 1, inside 1 minute. Keith McMurray in the red with the gold trim, and Mr. Barber, Leeonzer Barber, in the gold with the red trim, the traditional Kronk garb. And Manny Stewart has done an unbelievable job up in Detroit. And just farther down the road to my right here is the WBO middleweight champion, Gerald McClellan, who is a stablemate of Mr. Barber, and also will be making that trip to Beijing, China, and they are all looking forward to that with great anticipation. But tonight, it's Keith McMurray, and as we said, a guy who's been around the block a couple times, and I guess you'd just call him a survivor, and Barber being rather methodical right now.
Barber has definitely been the aggressor, but Keith McMurray is always dangerous. So even though Barber is aggressive, he is also being extremely cautious.
Inside 5 seconds, round number 1.
take that title.
Hey, I'll do my
Welcome
best.
back. Round number 2. The man you're looking at tight was Leeonzer Barber, and the man he's taking on in a non-title encounter, a 10-rounder, is Keith Sir Jabalot McMurray. And Sir Jabalot getting rather aggressive. I am joined now by 2 gentlemen who will be making the trip to Beijing, China with Leeonzer Barber. First, the man who will be trying to wrestle Leeonzer Barber's WBO light heavyweight title away from him in Beijing, Mike Cedillo. And Mike, of course, is a San Bernardino native, so he's a crowd favorite here. And as we'll get some comments from him, you got to be excited about going to Beijing. But tonight, I'm sure you want to get a close look at Barber, a very impressive physical specimen.
Definitely, I want to get a pretty close look at my opponent tonight, you know, and see really what he got, because I'm going to come into this fight in China with a victory, and I'm going to do my best to bring it back home here to the Inland Empire.
Inland Empire, that seems to be the operative term tonight, the Inland Empire. Also joined by William Wheeler, the man who is actually putting the promotion together over in Beijing for the American side. He's working with a number of Chinese promoters and has been working on it for a very long time. When you get a guy like Leeonzer Barber and the kind of excitement he brings to a card, you throw a guy like Iran Barkley on it, it's not just a national event over there, it's an international boxing event.
That is exactly right. As you've so well pointed out, Iran Barkley and Leeonzer are figures who are known around the boxing world, not just around the United States. And this gentleman sitting here to my left, Mike Cedillo, has promised that he's going to go in there and fight Leeonzer Barber with every ounce of his being. I'd certainly like to see the first light heavyweight champion, Hispanic light heavyweight champion of the world. And I believe this young man has an excellent chance to do that.
Tonight, Sir Jabalot giving Mr. Barber maybe a little more than he was bargaining for tonight. Keith McMurray is a gentleman not with the most startling of records, but he certainly has been in with some world-class fighters and always manages to pretty much make a good accounting of himself. Mike, you've been in with some great fighters, and Barber, you will have one thing in your corner. You have a great amount of, obviously, grit and determination, but experience. And when it gets tough, and I've seen you deep into some fights, it always seems that you are in good shape. Would be your plan to take Barber into the deeper rounds when he might lose some of his power?
Right, I think going into this fight, I think with experience and with poise, I think I got Barber over that, because I find people like Uriah Grant, he was the #1 ranked light heavyweight in the world. I descended to him for the USBA title. I won that Stroh's title at the Forum. I fought Virgil Hill, Michael Moore. Just a few of the top-ranked fighters that I've beaten.
So a guy like Leeonzer Barber, as impressive as he is, that doesn't intimidate you in the least?
No. Of course, any fighter from Kronk is tough, like Tommy Hearns, especially.
Right.
And I've been with Tommy in camps like that. Every fighter that comes out of Kronk's tough. And any fighter Manuel's got is tough. So Leeonzer Barber, I'm not taking him light. He's the world champ, and I'm the top contender, and I'm going to do my best to bring that title home.
We're watching a man who's taking care of business right now. Round number 3, Leeonzer Barber, who's fighting in a non-title 10-rounder, and Leonzer's getting that kind of scowl on his face, like he looks like he might have like a dinner date or something later, but he's looking like he's getting a little upset with Keith McMurray. Keith can be a very aggravating fighter. He's always in your face. He's got the jab out there. He's always got that long jab and takes a great punch. I've seen him with some very good fighters, and sometimes you feel like handing the opponent a chair, because this guy never seems to go down. Barber looked like he was trying to take him out and put him like 10 feet under, maybe on his way to Beijing. Action in round number 3, and Barber has had pretty much control of this fight, Mike Cedillo, but Murray has shown just enough just to hang in there, tough.
Yeah. Well, you see here, we're coming in as a light heavyweight fight, and I already see right now that, Leonzer looks pretty big on top. He's a little bit heavy, expect. So, he may have to work on a few things to get back and to weight so he can make weight for our fight.
Leeonzer Barber rolling into this match with a 15-1 mark and 10 knockouts. So for all his physical impressiveness, he is a nice knockout puncher, but not like you see of a former light heavyweight champ, Michael Moore, who was knocking everybody out at 175. But we'll have to see if he progresses like a lot of Kronk fighters. And Leonzer is a man trying to take Sir Jabalot out with some big shots. Round number 3 of a scheduled 10-rounder. Earlier tonight it was Anthony Hollywood Hembrick with a 4th round TKO over Earl Butler. And You fought Anthony Hembrick as well, and you fought to a 12-round draw, I believe, down in Houston last year.
Right.
A very good fighter, but you fought him as tough as anybody.
Well, yeah, Hembrick, he's got good style. He's got a lot of quick in and out movements, and he can confuse you. You know, he can change. He's got a whole lot different style than any fighter I've seen, and that's including Virgil Hill. Leeonzer will come at you very awkwardly, and yeah, he'll do what he can to beat you. And yeah, we did fight that 12-round draw up in Texas.
All right, we'll take a time out. We'll come back with more boxing from San Bernardino after this. San Bernardino, you're looking at two fighters in the light heavyweight category, actually fighting more in the cruiserweight division tonight. Keith McMurray, the man in the red trunks with the gold trim, and wearing the front gold and the red is Leeonzer Barber. He holds the WBO light heavyweight title, but he is not putting that on the line tonight, but he will put it on the line October 16th in Beijing, China, against the man working with me. This fight, to my right, Mike Cedillo, who will be trying to take that thing back to the United States from Beijing, back here to San Bernardino, as life here in the boxing world continues to progress as the Inland Empire explodes. As a lot more people live here than they did 10 years ago, and that means a lot more people are interested in all the sports, and boxing seems to be catching on a little better here.
Yeah, that's right. We got a you know, boxing world here has been catching on a lot, and people's been coming out and you know, and been packing the houses out here lately.
As Leeonzer Barber, I do not think thought this night of boxing would be quite as tough as he's gotten. As we intimated earlier, that Keith McMurray, although not a great record, has been in with some terrific fighters and always manages to be standing at the end of the fight. And Barber certainly landed some nice shots here. Leeonzer Barber, as we said, the BO champion, WBO, World Boxing Organization. Keith McMurray has been in and around the block a couple times and has taken the best Barber has had to offer. Ernie Swanks is the man working the ring tonight. And we are wrapping up here in round number 4 as the main event is right before your eyes.
Round, and you know, he doesn't look too impressive on that areas right now, but he is the world champ, and he does hold the title, so he does, you know, he does carry that for him right now.
A lot of times I think people might overestimate his power because he does look so powerful, but he doesn't get the hip and the shoulder into a lot of his punches. As you mentioned, he hits the guys, but he's not hitting through them. He's just hitting at them, and he certainly has kind of lost some of his technique tonight, and I'm sure you'll be trying to do the same kind of thing over there.
Right. And I did hear from a rumor from Kronk people that Leeonzer is moving up in cruiserweight, so he may be having
some little weight problems.
Yeah, he may be having problems making his way for the title fight.
Well, we know the last light heavyweight from Kronk was the jump up very quickly was Michael Moore, and he bypassed cruiserweight, went right up to the heavyweight division. Round number 5, a scheduled 10-rounder. Leeonzer Barber and Keith McMurray are also now rejoined by the promoter, Dr. Freddie Curlin, and things are going along nicely and far more competitive than I think some people thought this might be, including Leeonzer Barber's getting more than he bit off tonight. I think he came in tonight thinking quick night of work, but Sir Jabalot doing a nice job.
That's exactly right, Hugh, and this doesn't surprise me a bit. I know that young fellow is very dedicated, that young fellow Keith McMurray, and he's in there against the champion, but he's a hard worker and he's constantly training.
He is a man who is sitting by his phone a lot of times. If the promoter calls him, he's there because he's, as you said, Doc, he's always seems to be in great shape, and I've seen him go 10 and 12 rounds with some great fighters, and he's always winging it at the end, so always makes a good accounting for himself. Some heavyweights should take note of that. Do fights like this, Mike, we're doing also about Mike Cedillo, who'll be taking on Leeonzer Barber. Do sometimes you go into a fight maybe a little overconfident and then realizing that you're not going to take this guy out, then you go for the rounds maybe for a little bit? Or?
Yes, you know, sometimes you don't want to overestimate or underestimate your opponent. You want to go in there just doing what you have to do to win. And right now, as you see, Murray he's hanging in there tough with Leeonzer, and he's doing a pretty good job with staying up with him right now.
If there's a flaw in Barber's arsenal, as you are trying to find out right here, He might try to telegraph his punches. You can almost tell when he's going to throw that right hand. He seems to kind of measure with your left and then goes after you with your right hand. I guess that's something you'll be taking note of.
Yeah, well, we've been studying a lot of tapes on Leeonzer Barber here last few months here when he signed that contract.
Right.
And we've been looking a lot at him on the tapes, and now, we're looking at him live down here in the fight, and it's more exciting here.
Crowd heating up, the fight heats up. Keith McMurray taking some big shots and asking for more, and Leeonzer Barber is going to accommodate him. As I've seen Sir Jablot fight about a half dozen times, and every time he's a guy who takes so many shots. Barber going to the body very effectively right now. How would you describe McMurray's style or lack thereof? I mean, he's a guy who you can't really figure this guy out. He doesn't have any footwork. His left's down, the right's up. I mean, how do you characterize this guy?
Well, he's standing up with the champ right now, and he's the type of guy that stays. What I see is he stays in shape at the gym all the time, waiting for that big phone call to come in.
All right, Leeonzer Barber finish up quickly here in round number 5. We'll continue with action after this. Round number 6, a scheduled 10-rounder, and Leeonzer Barber comes out very quickly, lands a right and a left. Gimele joined at ringside by Mike Cedillo, who will be taking on Leeonzer Barber in Beijing, and also by Dr. Freddie Curlin, the promoter. World-class promotions, and we are in round number 6, and Barber really trying to muscle him right now, Doc.
Yes, he is. He's trying to take control. He is a champion. We cannot forget that. And Keith is a journeyman who's been around for a number of years. But you can see that Keith is not about to give up.
He's a tough guy, and he's certainly he's rather antagonizing, too, as if that's something you'd want to make Leeonzer Barber any more agitated right now. Looks like Leeonzer really wants to end this thing right now, but McMurray is just one very tough fighter.
Barber knows that he's going to have to take it if he's going to win it. He knows that.
Ernie Swanks is the man wearing the blue and the bow tonight in the ring. Veteran of many, many world championship fights and working a lot here in the Southern California area. We're coming to you tonight from the historic San Bernardino Arena, where boxing is becoming a monthly event in the Inland Empire, and people are looking forward to more competitive and high-class cards like the one put on here tonight.
Also, Hugh, traditionally, a warm-up fight preparatory to a championship bout is a relatively easy fight.
This one is not.
That does not obtain this evening.
No. I think you're talking about a couple rounds and let's go home and pack it in and get ready for Beijing. But Leeonzer had not fought since January, and maybe shook off a little ring rust, but certainly has looked good in flashes. But McMurray is just a guy who just won't go away. I think Mike Cedillo is going to hand him a chair here in a second. But
yeah, I think right now Leeonzer's being very frustrated right now by his opponent, and Keith is just hanging in there, and he's doing what he has to do right now just to, get through with the fight.
Trading at center ring. Barber landing 2 lefts to the midsection in the overhand right. McMurray barely taking a step back. A veteran of just 16 fights, so Leeonzer Barber certainly is a man still in, I guess you say, the developmental stage. He does hold a world title, but a lot of people feel he is untested at 175 pounds. Big right, and McMurray seems to be somewhat stunned, but he comes back playing possum as he often does. He's okay. He's telling the crowd he's okay. Inside 10 seconds here in round number 6. Leeonzer Barber putting on a nice show, but McMurray going down to 2 knees, and he'll get the 8 counts from Ernie Swanks. And that'll do it for round number 6. Round number 7, light heavyweights. Tonight, Leeonzer Barber, right there in the gold trunks. And man in the red trunks, Sir Jabalot, Keith McMurray. A very strong ending to round number 6 by Leeonzer Barber, who came here for a tune-up, and he's might be getting an overhaul as opposed to a tune-up.
Hugh, I was wondering what Mike Cedillo's reactions are as he watches this, and how he envisions himself in there in Beijing, China, against the champion, assuming that the champion wins tonight.
Well, you know, Doc, back to that question, you know, these last few months I've been eating, drinking, and sleeping nothing but Leeonzer Barber, so I definitely going to take that. I mean, I wanted to bring that title home so bad here to the Inland Empire, and not only that, but defend it here. Here we're world-class boxing promotions.
Very good, Mike. That you don't know how good that makes us feel.
Round number 7, as we said, Leeonzer Barber, as we said, will be taking on Mike Cedillo, but he'll be going back to the drawing board a little after Keith McMurray, with just 13 professional wins, but as we said, he's been with everybody in the 175-pound division. And a guy who seldom takes a step forward, but is always in your face some reason. He's taken some very, very big shots to the head and to the body, but is still right there antagonizing Leeonzer Barber. Trying to lure him in, Keith McMurray, as we said. Leeonzer Barber has only gone 12 rounds one time, and that was his last fight against Anthony Hembrick. Has only gone to the 8th round one time in addition to that 12-rounder. So he's a gentleman who likes to get his work done early. But a big left right in the face of McMurray, but he almost seems to relish the contact. A man who can really upset his opponent, Keith McMurray. No matter what his opponent does, McMurray's always there, seemingly asking for more. Barber going to the body here a lot more here in round number 7, and that could be McMurray's Achilles heel, we thought, but he's still right there. Barber going for the big bombs, but not really. McMurray seems to be really low on the gas tank, Mike. And but what keeps a guy like this up? Is it just a huge heart and a lot of experience?
A lot of heart, a lot of determination, and definitely experience in this game.
And there's something else too. This young man has pride. He has pride. He revealed that to me in a conversation we had yesterday.
Round number 7. We'll come back with more action after this. A close look at Keith McMurray as he walks right into a left hand of Leeonzer Barber, and Ernie Swang separates them. Barber, as we said, rolling into this with a 15-1 mark. McMurray just 13-17, but as we said, has been in with some terrific fighters. Humilay ringside here at the historic San Bernardino Arena. We're joined by the man who will be taking on Leeonzer Barber on October 16th in Beijing, China. Mike Cedillo, and the man who puts these promotions on here in San Bernardino, Dr. Freddie Curlin. And a terrific crowd here tonight, a lot of enthusiasm as the monthly card has a touch of world-classness tonight. As the promotion is really, the level of the promotion is very solid with the number of very solid boxers. A big right hand lands dead on the chin of Keith McMurray. That's the one that Barber's been trying to land for the past 7+ rounds. I don't know if Sir Jabalot will be getting up. He gets up quickly, and that will do it. Inside about 1 minute of the 8th round, Leeonzer Barber scoring an 8th round knockout. A huge right hand by Leeonzer Barber, as he'll be going off to Beijing, China with a knockout in his back pocket. A very, very tough fight, though. A lot tougher than a lot of people thought it would be. Keith McMurray counting himself very well here. We'll take a timeout. We'll continue with more action from San Bernardino. Stay with us. San Bernardino for the official time of that knockout by Leeonzer Barber. We send you up to Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the time, 1 minute, 1 second in round number 8. The winner by way of knockout, the WBO light heavyweight champion of the world, Leeonzer Barber.
A tough 7+ rounds.
Give it a hand to a very good sport. Put up a fine effort here tonight. Keith Sir Jabalot McMurray.
So Leeonzer Barber goes to 16-1 with 11 knockouts. We'll continue with action from San Bernardino. Stay with us. More boxing to come.
The dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, for the land of the free and the home of the
Thank you very much.